Good evening, and welcome to our YouTube channel, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I play the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. I'm your host, Thom. Tonight, we have episode 5 of That Damned House, with Troy Wheeldryer as our game master. Troy's going to be a little late, but we're going to cover for that. Let's do a recap. While Walton was recovering from his anxiety under the careful watch of Dr. Brunner, the others sought information at the library and the police station. At the library, Doctors Grace Tyler and Solomon Elijah were able to rule out any known natural animal, bird or rodent, that could leave such a large casting. The events in the house also seemed incongruous with stories of fairies, banshees, and will-o'-the-wisps, which traditionally appear in forests or swamps. Dr. Elijah discovered a book on American Indian legends and read about the great underground city of gold and silver, Corvira. The origins of this story were from the Wichita Indians, who were natives to the areas of Kansas and Oklahoma. But the legend was so prevalent among the other Plains Indians that the famous explorer Francisco Vasquez Coronado launched a 2-year search for the city in 1540, but turned up nothing. Back at the police station, Detective Wheeler was unable to supply Edward any information on Elijah James Ryan other than his address in Newport, Rhode Island. The group decided, for the sake of his sanity, to send Walton to investigate. He would catch the train, find out what he could, and then return. The others went to the Mystic Historical Society to research various related subjects. The Hazards had been a very prosperous family until they acquired the pearls, after which they began to decline. Many local tragedies were blamed on the Hazards, and many thought witchcraft was involved. Strangest of all were the discovery of what were coined as Indian babies, believed to be the mummified remains of infants, but were more likely a hoax created by a traveling circus for their freak show. One of these babies was on display. It was an object very nearly identical to the casting found by Dr. Elijah in the Hazard basement. Dr. Brunner noticed that there was a crushed watch and chain embedded in the thing. Meanwhile, Walton arrived in Newport and found that entrance to Ryan's place was far more difficult than he had first thought. He tried the door, he tried the neighbors, he searched in vain for the backyard. Eventually, it was the police who helped the most. Once inside, it didn't take much for Walton to find irrefutable evidence that Ryan was in fact the infamous cat burglar. Everything previously listed as stolen was recovered from Ryan's wall safe, except anything from the Hazards. No pearls, no documents, nothing. But there was found a detailed floor plan of the house. Walton then returned via train back to Connecticut. Reunited back at the hotel, the investigators compared notes and decided to inform Detective Wheeler and to return to the Hazard house in order to discover exactly what happened to Ryan, the accursed cat burglar. They continued to suspect Wheeler's possible involvement. At the house, there was an unusual proliferation of frogs, so much so that they had to continually avoid stepping on them. They seemed to be congregating only at the Hazard property. After informing Lucy that they had identified the burglar, she allowed them to once again search the house while she went to the kitchen to make lunch. Doctors Brunner and Elijah intended to check out the locked attic room. Grace and Edward would be going into the basement, and Walton would go out to the beach in order to find and question Ellery and Isabeau. What questions will they ask? What will they discover? And what is Lucy making for lunch? Let's find out. Well, since Troy's not here, I emailed him. He said that what we can do is, since before we do those things, we're in the sitting room, and we'll go over what we know so far. So do we have any insights from anyone?
Yeah, I've got an insight. The fact that someone gave the cat burglar the floor plan of the house.
Yeah.
So someone here definitely gave him something.
Yeah, that seems reasonable. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
It could have
maybe a contractor.
Yeah, it could have been.
But we've been told that there's no plans of the house. The house is very haphazard.
Yeah.
So somebody must have made this map.
But then again, if I think about it, it could have been just as easily possible for the insurance company to have provided this to the cat burglar.
But from where? Well, maybe. We don't have Troy here to ask if it looks like a handwritten map. He'll be here soon.
Let's question everything.
Well, I have been thinking, and I have been thinking very carefully about all of the events that have been taking place. Would you like to hear my thoughts?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, first of all, I was thinking about cursed objects. This cat burglar seemed to collect cursed objects. And from what we know, from what we believe of cursed objects, they are almost always associated with the desecration of some sort of temple or shrine. Probably the best example would be Le Bijou de Roi. I think now they call it the Hope Diamond. That supposedly was stolen by Jean-Baptiste Tavernier way back when. Supposedly it was the Star of India, and it was stolen from, it was the eye of an idol, and it was stolen. And ever since then, it has been incredibly cursed. Trevalier himself was supposedly torn to shreds by wild dogs. There are murders associated with it, suicides, tremendous sicknesses. It's because it was associated in this way. So I was thinking, what if the pearls were brought back by an ancestor of the Hazard family? Could it be that he discovered some sacred place, maybe related to the City of Gold that we heard about, that he brought back the pearls with him, but without knowing it, he brought something darker back with him, a curse. Because once the family had these pearls, it went into immediate decline. Now, the other very important thing is there are two cases where the Hazard house was disturbed in some way. First, in 1827, there was construction being done, and then in 1893, when lightning struck the house. Now, during these same times, two other mysterious things occurred. People began to disappear from the surrounding area, and the so-called Indian babies were found. I think from what we have pieced together, it's reasonable to assume that these babies are in fact the missing people, crushed by some constricting force. E.J. Ryan, our cat burglar, obviously disturbed the same thing and was crushed in the same manner. I think we need to exercise extreme caution here, because something in this house not only protects it, but it curses it. Anyways, that's what I'm thinking.
He was startled in the library, right?
Yeah, but it was something in the house that Dr. Elijah, he found the thing in a room downstairs.
Right, in the basement.
What if this thing not only protects the house, but its main priority is the jewels?
Well, yeah, the artifact. Now, I could be wrong on much of this, but it seems, at least in the fact that the Indian baby is the person who is crushed and killed. And I certainly don't want to end up like
the crushed remains themselves. I think it's the digested remains.
Well, yeah, but they were killed, and whatever's left of them, it's
something is eating these people. Something big.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's eating them whole because we found remains of the watch. Dr. Bruner found the watch in the compacted remains, so it's eating people whole.
Mm-hmm.
Like a big snake.
But that doesn't explain the crystal bats, though.
No,
that is. Well, we haven't really seen those except for
me.
For Volton.
Well, as a student of the occult, I can say that I have read things about spiritual entities being able to manifest in a physical form at times, certain times of the day, certain places, under certain conditions. So it could be one entity that's able to be in both a non-physical and physical form. It could be the same entity, or entities, actually.
Yeah, yeah.
Except it doesn't seem to be hurting anyone. The old lady seemed to love them.
Well, except for the people that it eats and crushes.
Well, yeah, maybe it didn't hurt Volton because it just recently ate.
What if they're not the same? The crystal bats and the thing that's eating people aren't the same entity, but they're two separate entities. You said something about Native Americans in a lost city. Because I wasn't there, I have no idea about this. So you said something about that, right?
Yeah, yeah. Dr. Solomon. Well, we can say that we already discussed that amongst ourselves once already.
Right.
Yeah.
But, so
sharing all this.
Corvira.
Mm-hmm.
What if there's a physical protector, and these lights are the thing that these they're spirits. Maybe the Indians had spirits, their souls that are connected to this object, and there's a physical entity that protects the object.
Mm.
Wish I could roll an occult check, but Troy's not here.
Yeah, dang it.
Yeah.
Well,
It's like our brains are all half awake at the moment.
Well, for that matter, the lights could also be the spirits of the people that have been killed.
Oh.
That's true.
They could be
That's
bound
an
to the
interesting
house.
idea.
Yeah, bound to the house and bound to the... That could be part of the curse, is they are not able to move on to whatever their particular afterlife is.
Yeah,
that is brilliant.
I only say that they're spirits because they were lights, and souls are attributed to orbs of light, and there was a stench.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yes, that's another thing. It's a stench.
And we're forgetting that the lady was feeding them.
She feeds them, yeah.
Mm.
So there is something physical there.
Although I think the Asians, they do something about feeding the hungry spirits.
Right. Many cultures. I mean, when you think about the origins of Halloween or Samhain, as it was called, there were definitely practices where food and snacks and milk were put out for spirits, but the spirits, it was more of a representative thing, more of a paying homage to the spirits. Kind of like in the Caribbean, where I'm from, there is often a sacrifice of tobacco and whiskey to your ancestors. But of course, we don't believe our ancestors are drinking the whiskey and actually smoking the cigarettes. It's just
like a tribute.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
It's like pouring, mead on the ground for a dead Viking warrior, or that sort of thing.
Aztec gods believed that blood was a sort of connector between spiritual realms, and it was used to appease the gods. So maybe flesh is appeasing these things in some way. Maybe the whole idea of hungry spirits isn't a bad idea.
And it was also rotting food also. It wasn't fresh food. Remember she said that they liked the food to be, kind of sticky and gross.
Stinky.
Yeah.
So
you couldn't see anything except these glowing lights, huh?
No. But and now that we're bringing that up, in Zoroastrianism, they believe that like putrefied remains that were given up and weren't feasted on by carrot and crows had possibility of being possessed by demons. So maybe there is something really unholy here. Maybe this isn't just a coincidence. Maybe it's something unholy.
Well, Renee on the message board says the crystal bats are like pilot fish to the whatever it is, like the pilot fish that swim around near sharks.
Who? Yeah. Who is this person on to what? Hi, Renee.
Message board? What is that? This is 1920.
I think Dr. Grace has lost her Fruit Loops.
Sanity roll.
What voodoo is she talking about?
No, see, the CoC message board that we keep at the office, right?
Yeah.
Right.
On the CoC message board.
So are all of us armed in case we do run up against...
I don't carry guns, but now I'm starting to think maybe I should carry a gun.
I do have a little handgun that I have with me.
Okay.
You know.
Just carry it around. Yeah.
There are a whole bunch of bear traps upstairs, perhaps to keep the thing here. What if that's it? To keep the thing here so it doesn't eat the people in the town. And it's only when it gets out accidentally when they're constructing on the house or when the lightning hits the house.
But there wasn't anything happening when the cat burglar entered.
True.
But he was in the house.
Yeah, but they're also in the house. Why didn't they go for them?
No, the other victims were outside the house. The thing got out. Now the thing doesn't have to get out. It's inside. It could be standing right next to us. Maybe it's invisible. Maybe it blends in, like we said, like a chameleon.
We just have to keep the idea that these people aren't what they seem. You know, maybe one or two of them are good, nice people, but we have to be on our guard.
Yeah. And what about Vila? I keep wondering. I don't know why it nags at me that
there's something.
Might be involved.
He's uncomfortable to me. He makes me uncomfortable. There's a gut feeling. No matter what he says or what he does, there's always this nagging idea that, he could be just as involved as anybody.
I mean, he probably doesn't make a lot of money, so if he could, with his friend, escape with a bunch of jewels.
Yeah, there was the main thing is that even even though this is a small town, he should have still performed a very thorough investigation. I mean, he should have.
When you think about it, old families with old money, it's very easy to pay off people and say, listen, we don't want any, undue attention on our family. Here's some money to look the other way and make sure that, no one gets too deeply involved in this.
Yeah.
Troy's here. You're going to answer all of our questions.
Finally, God is here.
The other half of our brain.
Waiting for Godot. All right. How's it going? What's everyone been discussing?
We're having a brainstorming session.
Oh, good. Okay, good.
Been discussing. You know what I should do for Troy? I should send this quickly to him.
Okay.
My notes.
Oh, good. Okay,
so
cool.
that you can see what I was thinking.
All right. So what's your guys' plan of action here?
But we have a couple little questions for you.
Oh, I see. Okay. God will be happy to answer. God is taking your calls.
Okay. Who wants to do something first?
Let me send this to him so he can see it.
Okay.
I don't know how really insightful it was, but it's a place we started. There it comes. Oh.
I'll just say for the record, my character is not entirely convinced of a lot of what you guys are talking about. So I'm more of a the evidence leads me to wherever it leads me. So
yeah.
It is good.
For the record.
What we had some questions. What were we thinking?
We're talking about the map.
Yeah, one of our major things is did the map that was found of the floor plan?
Yeah.
Did it look like it was made commercially, or was it hand drawn?
Commercially. It was probably like copied over from like a hand-drawn one, like from, maybe like the Hazard family, master plan or whatever. But, after Ryman and Knowles had received that, they had it professionally copied into an actual like blueprint.
Oh, so
Yeah,
it
so
could have come from the insurance company.
It had the seal of the insurance company.
Oh, okay. That changes everything. We were thinking that he's.
Yeah, sorry, I thought I mentioned that last time.
I thought you did.
Yeah,
I thought you did.
I missed it then.
No,
That's
that's fine.
Okay.
Maybe there was a conspiracy there.
Mm-hmm.
So Troy,
Yes.
can I roll an occult check? We were talking about how the crystal bats could easily be like souls or spirits. Could I roll an occult check to kind of see if I knew anything, or if...
No. I mean, I think your character would make that leap pretty easily.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I said, the last time when I think it was Solomon was looking it up, there's references to like fairies or banshees or souls, stuff like that would have come into your sort of general pool of knowledge.
Okay.
Like I said, something isn't really adding up with the occult explanation here. If it is some sort of supernatural element, you're not totally familiar with. It doesn't fit like an exact explanation from what you're aware of.
Well, also let me mention that everybody agrees that we can go a little later if you want to, Troy.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No problem. Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Yep.
So I can't think of any other questions.
Yeah, I'm just kind of looking through your notes here. Let's see.
Silently judging them.
Yeah. I mean, they could be completely wrong. They're just what I discussed with everybody.
Protection and curse.
So I wonder what she's making for lunch.
Cucumber sandwiches. What she made last time.
Probably, yeah. Probably not going to be too different from what you guys said later. So it's midday or like beginning of the day. Okay, all right.
Okay.
Yeah. So okay. So yeah, you guys are called into the dining area and have lunch. Pretty similar setup to the last time. Ellery and Isabel aren't present, but they should be coming along shortly.
No, remember we were going to do things.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Dr. Elijah and I were going to go upstairs. Dr. Grace and my brain is suddenly gone. Edward were going downstairs, and Volton was going out to the beach to find.
Yeah, I thought you guys had a plan. Okay, that's right. Okay, so let's see, who wants to go first? Let's do the beach thing first. Okay, so
all the frogs outside, yeah.
Yeah, so once again, you're walking towards the beach, lots of frogs outside. You're having to kind of avoid them. You come down to the beach, and you do see Ellery and Isabeau off in the distance. And they wave to you and come over and say hi. Do you have anything specific you want to ask them? Or?
Yeah. So I'm just gonna flip open cigar pack, put one in, light up, and walk towards them. And I'm gonna say, how is the weather like today?
It's overcast. It's definitely overcast. It's certainly turning into a New England fall kind of day. Yeah.
Okay. So I take a big drag and then I say, kind of a gloomy day to be walking out on the beach.
Oh, well, we like to kind of, get some fresh air sometimes, but I find, this is Isabel, I find the crisp New England air to be refreshing, especially this time of year.
Okay. I look at them, I kind of like eye them over, and I hold out the cigarette pack. Kind of like it's an offering.
Isabel, like, you can see, kind of looks at Ellery, and Ellery kind of gives a little, like, no. So they both refuse.
Oh, come on! All right. I kind of shrug and I say, "Suit yourself," and I put it in my pocket. And I say, "What are you two doing out here? Just walking around? Just taking in the scenery?"
Yes, sometimes it's nice to get out of the house for a little bit.
Yeah, I mean,
What are you doing here today? Have you solved the case?
yes, I single-handedly solved the case.
Oh, really? Well, that's good to
Yes.
hear.
We found out that it was the insurance company. Cat Burglar was the guy whose car, and I kind of point over to on the cliff where the woods are. His car's over there. Probably seen it if you're walking out on the beach. That's his car over there.
You probably wouldn't have seen it from the beach, but
Yeah.
but oh well, that's fantastic news. We're glad to hear about it. Have you found the pearls?
I take another drag and I say, "That's why we're here."
Oh, I see. Okay. Ellery says, "Well, what do you think? Are the pearls still in the house?"
Well, the body of E.J. Ryan, the cat burglar, has not been identified and has not been found. The last location is your house.
Hmm.
So,
Could it be on the grounds, perhaps, or have you?
we think that he's inside the house. If he was
my
on the
goodness.
if he was on the grounds, he would have easily gotten back into his car and driven away. But his car is still here, days after the experience, and he's not at home. No one's seen him for days.
Isabeau is like kind of visibly kind of scared by this, and Ellery kind of holds her and says, "Oh, we should head back to the house immediately to notify the family. If the burglar is still in the house, then we need to find him."
So, okay, Troy, you pointed out Isabella's like body language. What about Ellery's?
He's just like holding her, like he's trying to be like defensive of her.
Okay, so no need to roll a psychology check to see if they're like actually shaken.
No, I mean, you can if you want to like verify it, but it's pretty clear. She's worried that if there is like a burglar still alive in the house, like she could be in danger.
Yeah.
Some, reprobate in the house. That could be dangerous. And Ellery, you can tell, is very protective of
Okay. So I'm gonna just do. I don't know if it'd be a fast talk or persuade, but essentially I'm gonna say it's not anything. We found his lockpicks. We don't think he's alive, so I don't think you need to worry. We're just trying to find the pearls and where they are.
Well, we need to find the body.
Well, do you know of any hiding spots?
Hiding spots. Make a psychology roll real quick.
Okay.
It's like the whole house is a hiding spot.
Yeah.
It's a huge house.
82. Nope.
Okay.
And so it begins.
They kind of look at each other. You notice that they kind of look at each other almost like they're trying to read each other's minds. And then they say, "Well, you guys spent the whole day in there. I would think you'd be pretty familiar with everything that's in the house. I guess maybe the game room downstairs. There's a lot of there's a lot of places to hide, down in the basement, but you guys were down there pretty extensively.
I take another drag and I say, listen, anything that you can do or say can really help us out. We don't want to be here for very much longer, and I'm sure you guys don't want us here either. So if you do know anything, just it'd be better for you to tell me. I mean, you're young kids, and old Victorian houses have plenty of hiding spots. I know this.
They visibly get a little irritated that you just call them young kids, because they're definitely trying to cultivate this persona of being worldly, travelers. So they actually are a little bit irritated that you suggested that. But they say, well, let's go back to the house, and we'll figure it out from there. So this whole interlude took about, let's say, 20-25 minutes. So we'll timing is going to be kind of the essence here. So we'll kind of help you guys visualize this. So let me get the picture straight. So you guys are in the sitting room, and before Sophronia comes out, or whoever comes out, you guys are wanting to go off on your own.
Lucy had met us, and we told her that we found the cat burglar.
Yeah, Lucy, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then she said she was going to go fix lunch, and she told us it was fine for us to search the house. So
okay, all right, yeah. So so Dr. Brunner and Edward, you guys were going downstairs.
No, we are going to go to the locked room up in the attic.
Okay,
yeah, me and Dr. Brunner.
Wait, who's going upstairs and who's going in the basement?
Well, I'm going upstairs.
Upstairs.
You're going in the basement.
And Edward's going to the basement.
Right.
So Dr. Taylor and Edward. Okay. So let's do the basement first. So what are you guys looking for in the basement? What are you doing down there?
Well, we were going to go check out the room where that Indian baby was found.
Okay, so the game room. Okay. So
this time we have lights.
Okay, so you have your flashlight out, or your torch, or whatever. Okay. So in the room, nothing's really changed. I mean, you guys didn't really see it that much, but it's as Solomon had described it. You see the slightly crushed remnants of the casting still on the ground, where he mentioned it earlier. How long are you spending down here, or what all are you doing?
Is there a way to tell by looking at it? Does it appear like, can we tell if it's human remains? Is there anything that, like, is it hair or fur?
Nika, do you have biology? Or
I got natural history.
Yeah, natural history might work. Go ahead, and Dr. Taylor might be able to make that determination, or even like a medicine roll.
Yeah, if you get a sample, I can do that.
Okay, 58 made it.
You made the natural history roll. Okay, so you know that based off of sort of the bones that you can see from the casting, that it's mammal. It's probably not a bird. The bones are larger, so you could suspect that it's probably a larger mammal, but you can't really get much clearer than that. You can rule out smaller animals or birds or reptiles or whatever, from that.
Okay. There was talk of a blackish oil sludge. Is that?
Yeah. Okay. That was in the hole in the stairway leading upstairs. So if you investigate that, there's if you shine your torch in there, you don't see anything in there. There's no oily black substance like what Solomon had described.
Oh, okay.
So.
I'm going to take a look around the room. and see if I can figure out where that thing was that was knocking things over.
Okay. So investigating the room, you notice. Well, go ahead and do a spot hidden roll, actually.
Okay. Oh, 8!
Oh, nice.
I got my glasses on today.
So you notice in the corner of one of the corners of the rooms that there is a opening of sorts, and the way the basement is described is it's kind of confusing, but looking through this opening, it's probably large enough maybe for like a small child to fit through, but it leads out basically into like a hallway, and the hallway kind of leads around. So you have Guillaume, the bathroom, or the toilet room, well, not toilet, but bathroom, and the game room, and then kind of around that there's sort of a hallway that leads around, and then there's it's just sort of like an empty space basically, and so this opening would lead out into that sort of open space, which is basically just like a leftover area from sort of the haphazard construction of the house.
So you say it's about big enough for a small child?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So we can't get in there, darn it.
No, but you could go around, the rooms that are there. So it's like game room, kitchen, because the kitchen's in the basement, and then the bathroom, and then Guillaume's room. And then you could go around Guillaume's room, and then it would leave, there's like this open space basically, that was added on later.
Can I search around in this hallway to see if there are other openings in the other rooms?
Mm-hmm. Sure. Go ahead and make a spot hidden roll yourself.
$21.
Okay.
And I
should make it.
35.
That's below your base. So, so looking around, you spend quite a while down, sort of searching through this hallway, but you notice in the ceiling of this hallway leading up into the upper floors, there is sort of a loose floorboard, I guess it would be, where if you kind of push up on it, it opens up, and so a small person could theoretically fit through it, but definitely not an adult person. So a small animal or a small person could fit through that.
So it's currently sealed by this floorboard, or it's just loose?
It's loose, so it's pretty easy to move it yourself. But you wouldn't be able to fit in it, and it's it's on the ceiling, so it would be kind of difficult to get up there.
Okay.
While you guys are looking around, though, around the edge of the hallway, like I said, it kind of curves around the rooms, and then it leads also in the back. There's kind of behind where the kitchen and the game room are. You actually see a pair of eyes staring out from you. Go ahead and make a spot hidden roll. I just want to see what all you get, because your eyes kind of deceive you because you're in the dark, not a lot of light. I want to see gauge where you guys are at with that. Okay.
I made it.
Okay.
54. I failed.
Failed. Okay. So Dr. Taylor notices it then, and It's a pair of eyes, and it's, from what you can tell, and it's basically like gleaming from your flashlight. So that's kind of how you notice it. And
what color are they?
They're not colored or anything, but they're not at animal height. I'll say that they're not cat height or dog height, or they're more like maybe monkey or child height, small adult height. So maybe up to your chest, Dr. Taylor. And it's about it's a fair ways, like maybe a few yards away from you. So you just see it for a few seconds as your flashlight kind of flashes over it, and then it goes around the corner and disappears.
Did you see that?
No, I didn't.
Eyes.
Eyes?
Around the corner. Come on, let's follow them.
I take my gun out.
You hear some whispering. Sounds like children's whispering, almost like a giddy kind of noise. And then you hear some kind of it's like a scratching noise, kind of almost like you hear a scratching noise and then like a suction-y kind of noise, like like if you stuck like a plunger on a wall and took it off. That's kind of what it sounds like. And then you hear wood shuffling around. Are you guys going around the corner, or are you just kind of standing there and waiting?
I'm going to take a little peek around the corner. I'm not going to go around the corner yet, but I'm going to look.
Okay. By the time you look over, you just see there's a similar loose floorboard on this side, and it's being shifted over. It's being covered over. So you didn't actually like see anything, but what you notice is on the walls there is a slimy substance, black ooze substance on the walls. That is pretty quickly drying before your eyes.
Can I get a sample of it?
Yeah, if you want to scrape it off, sure.
I'm going to get a sample of it. And by the way, I'm meant to get a sample of the Indian baby's contents too.
Okay. Yeah, sure. You can do that. And then nothing else really happens down there. So this probably took you guys about let's say like 30-45 minutes, this whole interlude. So let's go to the folks that are going upstairs.
You seem way too delighted when you say that.
So what are you guys doing? What is your plan?
We want to check out that room, the locked room, right?
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to go upstairs and see if we can find a way.
Okay.
First, we got to find the locked room.
Mm-hmm.
You guys saw it in your trip or in your tour. Prim, just kind of like sort of bypassed it. You guys didn't go inside of it, but you know where it is. It's on the far side, the same side that you would get to Sophronia and Prim's room. It's over there.
Troy, I want to have my hand on my gun, but I don't want to have my gun out though.
Okay.
Okay, it's just in my pocket, but my hands. I'm kind of fiddling with it nervously.
Okay.
Just the handle, not the. Okay.
Okay, well, you shoot anything that comes and tries to grab me.
Well, I really hesitate to discharge a firearm inside their house. The hazards have been nothing but kind to us. It feels like that.
Yeah, but if a giant snake comes out and grabs me, you shoot it in the head.
Well, yeah.
And if you have to shoot me through the shoulder to do it, do it.
Yes, sir. I will make sure it happens.
So you guys are heading upstairs, and you see Prim. He's actually in the library. I don't think he had come out to greet you, if I remember correctly. So he's just in the library, which is on the ground floor, and he's aware, that you guys are in the house or whatever. But he looks up, kind of suspiciously, and asks, what's going on.
Prim.
I'll let you handle this.
I wish we could have snuck past him, but
you didn't know that he was in there, so I wouldn't.
Okay.
You didn't.
We could just be honest with him if you want. I mean, we could just directly say to him.
That's what I'm saying. I think we're kind of roped into telling him exactly what.
Yeah, we're going to the room, and this is part of the investigation.
We need you to let us into the locked room. We don't say it right like that. We say we found the cat burglar. We have not recovered the pearls. We have very strong belief that Mr. Ryan, who was the cat burglar, is somewhere in this house, either alive or dead. And we have the police downstairs, and we need to look in the room, the locked room.
Okay. Make either a persuade or a fast talk roll.
Okay, I'll do let's see.
Do you want us both to try, or just Dr.
I'm talking. He's the one that was talking, yeah.
Okay.
What is those? Roll. What do I have? Yeah, no, he's not going to listen.
Well,
but that doesn't mean that we're not going to do it. I tell him, so we're going to get into that room one way or the other.
Okay, so Prim, he puts his hands down in his, or he puts his head down in his hands, and just says, I have that room locked for a reason. Dr. Bruner and Dr. Solomon, come in here and sit down with me. We need to discuss something.
Okay.
And he shuts the library door, and he sits down with you, and he says, I don't know how much into our history you have looked back, but we haven't been completely honest with you. There is another person in this house, another family member, that we have not told you about. Mainly because he's an invalid. He doesn't interact with the family at all. He's very elderly person. We try and keep him from outsiders and sort of exposing him to the outside world, because he's very frail. And that's why we didn't want to let you into that room.
Okay. Such a thing is not so unusual. I understand many families do not want anybody to know about such a family member upstairs. Ones that you probably have to keep a watch on, perhaps to keep him from hurting himself. Yeah.
Yes, he's not well in many sense of the word. I've spent a lot of time praying over him.
I see. Are you saying that he may be mentally disturbed?
Well, as old people get, my time is coming to, and it may strike me down one of these days. Luckily, I still have my faculties about me, but we take care of our own, and we're not going to put him in an asylum when we have the resources to take care of him.
Can I do a psychology roll to see if I believe him?
Yeah, sure. Did you make that?
I got a 19, yeah.
Okay.
I think I can read him pretty well.
Yeah, he's not telling you the whole truth. I mean, you can gather from that. But he is telling the truth as far as you can tell, that there is a family member in there and that he's concerned about this person. But he still would rather you not go in that room.
That all being said, and with all due respect, I still want to go into the room.
Yeah, we have a problem, and that's that we have to
go into
rule out. If you just allow us to peek inside, then we can rule out that you don't. Forgive me for saying this, but we don't know you, and you could have Mr. Ryan chained up in a bed in the room, and you are torturing him. It's ridiculous, I know, but we have to at least take a peek and make sure that such a thing is not going on. If we see an invalid in the bed, we will walk away.
He kind of purses his lips a little bit, but he understands that is the case. So he's kind of doing sort of like mental, calculations in his head, and he finally he shakes his head. He's like, okay, all right. But you must remain very quiet, and please try not to react if he has an outburst as he's wont to do.
I'm a medical doctor. I won't be surprised. I've seen some very, very.
Well, Dr. Bruno, that might be the case, but I'm stressing this case to you. You are in my house.
All right. I won't call out or anything.
He kind of rolls his eyes and he's like, "All right, let us go. Follow me."
When we go upstairs, Troy,
yeah,
I want to make sure that I'm walking behind Prim.
Okay, and he's leading the way. He's not going to let you guys go first.
Yeah, I want to make sure that I stay, in a strategic position. Like, I don't want him behind us.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Gotcha. All right, so you guys make your way upstairs. And as you're walking up there, you see little Miss Sophronia come out of her room. And she's like, "Oh, hello there, dearies. How are you?"
Good evening, Sophronia.
And Prim just kind of shakes his head at her, and it's like, "Go back to your room, Sophronia." And she's like, "Oh, but what are you doing up here?" And he's like, "We're going to go visit cousin Wilfred. We need to show him. We need to show these gentlemen the room so that they can rule out the rest of the situation." And Sophronia just kind of gets, it's hard to describe. It's not really like a terror look in her face, but it's definitely a knowing look. And then she just goes right back into her room and shuts the door. So then you guys continue up the stairs. Let me just get. Okay, so he takes you upstairs to the attic, and it's just the locked room and then the museum are just really the only two rooms in this part of the house. So he walks up to the locked room and kind of softly knocks on the door. You don't hear anything from the room. And he unlocks it with his ring of keys, and you guys enter in. The first thing you notice, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
I was just going to suggest, because it could be quite horrific. People have diseases. Whether Dr. Elijah would like to remain outside. I only need a peek inside the door.
I like that idea. Strategically, that makes sense.
I'm going to stay outside. Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to stay in the hallway right outside the door. My hand's still in my gun in my pocket.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I've seen burn victims and others. I don't think I'm going to scream.
You're absolutely right. Thank you. Mm-hmm.
All right. So Dr. Bruner and Prim go inside. The first thing you notice is a very dank, dark room. Musty smell. Very, very musty smell. Old room. Probably hasn't been cleaned in ages. Sitting in one of the darkest corners of the room, because there's a little bit of light peeking in through one of the shutters of this attic room, you see, as your eyes kind of adjust, you see sort of a bloated man sitting in a wheelchair. From what you can see from here, he has chains actually over him. So they're not necessarily chains. There's a little bit of metal involved in it, but it's mostly like kind of leather straps. But there are along his waist. There's sort of chains there.
So they have to restrain him. Yeah.
Yeah, so they do have to restrain him, and you know, Prim kind of looks at you and says it's for his safety, because he can see the look in your face right away as this enlightened doctor or whatever. Like, it's for his safety. We need to keep him safe.
Well, I put my hand on Prim's shoulder and I'm like, it's okay. I understand.
And from what you can tell, you're just kind of at the entryway of the door, but you can tell it looks like he's sleeping. Can
I see anything
in there is sleeping? Yeah.
Can I see anything unusual? The details or?
Go ahead and make a spot hidden roll.
Oh no!
You're pretty much satisfied that it's just a guy, it's an invalid, older person. But one interesting thing you do kind of notice is that it's rare, especially in that day and age, to see sort of an obese elderly person, and if he's as old as Prim is, at least that'd be pretty odd. I mean, he's obviously living a sedentary life, but it is pretty odd to see that. So you're pretty convinced that this is just an invalid, and Prim is like, I don't think there's anything else for you to see.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. I'm convinced, and I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry. This situation.
So he shuts the door and locks it.
And I say
you're satisfied.
Yeah, and I say to Salam, I say it's okay. It's it's somebody's in there. It's okay.
Okay.
It's not anything sinister.
Okay.
So
they probably feed him a lot of sugar bombs.
Prim just kind of looks at you like he eats everything you eat.
Yeah. Okay.
He shows you guys down the stairs. So I'm assuming all of you kind of congregate afterwards. All of you kind of congregate at the lunch table. I'm not sure how much you want to reveal in front of the family about your respective, kind of adventures. But everyone's at the table. All the family members, Caleb, Ellery, Isabel, everyone's there at the lunch table.
Maybe we should go off and talk amongst ourselves before we come out and say anything to the family.
Before you do that, Ellery and Isabeau, kind of stand up once everyone's kind of convened in there and lunch has started. And they say, Ellery kind of gets up and he's just like, family, we need to let them know about cousin Wilfred in the room upstairs. And Prim just says, sit down. And he sits down right away, and Prim says, the two gentlemen doctors have been shown Cousin Wilfred, and we'll have no more talk of that. And
it's okay.
They don't say anything else. They don't say anything else about it.
We're all sitting around lunch, right?
Yeah.
That was Ellery?
That was Ellery who got up, yeah.
So, against my better judgment, I'm going to look over at Ellery and I'm going to say, well, no, please, what is it? Is there something more that you would like to tell us?
Prim
actually
answers.
Okay.
Says, Mr. Elijah, there is nothing in that room besides a poor invalid man who needs to rest and be with his family in his dying days. And if you want to go ahead and make a psychology roll, just because I'm sure you're kind of looking at everyone else's reactions to this, Elijah.
Okay. It's going to be really... yeah, no.
No, okay.
I missed it.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's just really quiet after he says that. No one says anything afterwards.
Hmm.
You can tell it's a bit of a sore subject in the family.
Yeah, it's embarrassing. People don't want to know that there's... I'm not saying this out loud, but people don't want to know that there's insanity in the family or
right
like that.
I'm going to confirm.
Good thing that we're not the tabloids then, isn't it?
Hmm.
I'd like to
details that will help us, we need to know them.
Yeah, but nobody wants to know, so...
What were you doing?
I'd like to confront Prim a little more tougher. Everyone's kind of dancing around him, so let a little bit more of the bad cop, good cop kind of thing, and just challenge him and say, Mr. Prim, now's the time to reveal if there are other people here that you have not told us about. Now is the time to come clean.
Yeah, you've lied to us once before.
Okay, go ahead and make fast talk rolls, both of you. See what happens here.
Please. No! Fine!
I missed it by 1 point.
Okay. So he's more, I mean, he feels extremely ganged up on you. You can tell that right away. And he's just like, excuse me, I have been more than open in letting this house open. I have shown you all, against my better judgment, one of my poor invalid relatives, and I find this treatment ridiculous. And he kind of looks to Dr. Bruner like what are these people talking about? Like, I've given you, all the access to this, to this household, and this is just absolutely outrageous.
You must understand we are faced with two things now. Two things. One is we have Mr. Ryan's disappearance in this house. We believe he came in, but he never went out. His car was found outside, and we have found within this house his lockpicks. The other thing that kind of that just came up in my mind, and I do not mean to insult you, sir, I understand that you can have family members who are invalids in the house, but what did you mean by one of your invalid relatives?
Well,
you just said one of your invalid relatives you revealed to us.
Well, he kind of gives like a knowing glance to Sophronia, or to you guys, just kind of looking over to Sophronia, like we have older people in this household and a lack of young blood. That was all I meant by that, Dr. Bruner.
I see.
And I'm sorry, did you guys tell him about the lockpicks as well? I don't Well,
I
tell
think
the
just
family
did.
on that? Okay, yeah.
I think we just did.
So yeah, okay. I was about to say, I don't think you guys told them about that initially because you had known that for a while. So they're like, lockpicks? What lockpicks?
We found the burglar's lockpicks. Now, here is our immediate.
Lucy is very agitated by this.
Here is our immediate concern. Your house is a very large house. You are only a few people, and you have a very large house. We believe that somewhere in this house, Mr. Ryan is still at. He's still here somewhere. He has perhaps crawled away into a corner and died. He is somewhere in this house. We are almost convinced of this. So we need to find him. You have possibly a criminal, a burglar, in your house at this very moment. So I think a full search is in order.
And that's a full search, Prim. Not just...
Oh, and I also forgot the police officers are here too.
Yeah,
like
we're
in the house. Yeah, okay, yeah. So they're there too.
This is
add them in real quick.
Wheeler and Booker.
Yeah, Wheeler and the guy that I totally forgot.
Made up.
Oh well, he's going to be the red shirt in this scenario. I mean, the family is understanding, and, Lucy kind of interjects here, and she says, I totally understand where you all are coming from an investigator's point of view. This must seem, very suspicious, and, I'm following your line of logic here. I agree. I think we should do a full sweep of the house, and we will accede to that as well.
It's likely that we will find the pearls in the process as well. I think the pearls are still here somewhere in the house.
Yes, and that is the most important. Somewhere. Obviously, I'd rather not have a dead body rotting in my house as well, but if that, is the case, we'll need to find that. Where did you find these lockpicks?
We found some lockpicks in the basement. In the music room, was it, or the game room? Game room.
Mm-hmm. So they were just sitting out. That was quite a find if you found these lockpicks.
Well, perhaps Dr. Solomon should explain.
Sure, I'm going to go ahead and tell him the truth about where I found the lockpicks, and I'm going to say that I was down there talking to Guillaume. And we heard some noises. I went to investigate, and I found a casting, this mass of desiccated fur and tissue and other objects, and the lockpicks were actually inside of that when I broke it open.
And here I will take out my little sample of the casting and show them.
What's their reaction?
Yeah, I'm also going to mention when I say that, that maybe exacerbate his reaction, is I'm going to say, we're doing some research, and it seems that these castings were also called Indian babies, that they've appeared throughout town, throughout the history of Mystic, especially connected to your family at strange times. So.
Okay. Make a psychology roll, Dr. Elijah, Dr. Bruner. You two specifically said that you were kind of looking at their reactions.
I missed it by 1 point.
Where is it?
That's insane. Yeah, I missed it.
I missed it by 7 points.
They all
They're
kind
stoic.
Yeah, they're pretty stoic. Yeah, you don't get a whole lot of reading from that, but they are pretty disturbed by this. Lucy, just says like, "Oh, that is disgusting. I can't believe that was in my house." Prim is quiet. Sophronia is quiet. Yeah, you don't really get a whole lot of reaction out of the rest of the family at that point. But they're not as shocked as you would think. in that circumstance, from what the implication is that you're kind of hinting at a little bit. But they're disturbed. They're visibly disturbed by it.
And since we're going on this as we're talking about this as well, it may be pointed out that Sophronia may not be as loopy as you guys may think.
And Prim just kind of looks at you. What do you mean by that?
I just take a sip. I'm just quiet now.
I know what he's going to say, so I'm going to watch them very carefully to see what their reaction.
I'm just sitting there like, oh, if you want to know, ask me. Like, ask me in detail, and then I'm going to have, I'm going to watch what they say and watch what they do.
Mr. Samus, you are in my household. What are you implying about my sister?
I'm implying that she actually may be correct about the crystal babies and that you are the one who may be denying reality because I've seen them.
What do you mean? And he kind of looks at Sophronia, and Sophronia is like, oh yes, I took them up the other night and we looked at my little bats.
Yeah, I'm sure that that surprises you that now a respected man from the University of Massachusetts in Boston is agreeing with your sister, who says that there are crystal bats in your attic that eat rotting meat.
Prim is like super like embarrassed by this. It's just like, oh my god, I can't believe she suggested to you that these things are real. This must be some. It must be the air. He just starts like rationalizing or whatever, and Lucy just says, maybe he's just being polite. And Sophronia is like, no, they're real, and then they kind of all start arguing, and then Ellery and Isabeau are like threatening to get up and leave. It started to become like a real hodgepodge.
I stand up, and I kind of try and like yell over them to just stop. And just to listen.
They all stop, and they're listening.
I'm going to say, we understand that you have a different way of going about things, and we understand that we haven't been the best and most polite in accepting your hospitality, but right now, there are 3 things that we need to figure out. 1, if what I saw in the attic with your sister is real. 2, where in the hell the jewels are, and 3, if the cat burglar was eaten and is dead. Now, I understand that everyone's frazzled and everyone...
What are you talking about? That's Sophronia.
I understand that everyone's frazzled, and I understand everyone is upset, but we could be out of here today with your help if you just tell us everything and anything that you know, and looking at Prim, stop avoiding this. This is a police investigation. Those are 2 policemen standing over there. You're withholding evidence. Just be upfront and forward with us. We'll be understanding.
At this point, Wheeler kind of steps in and is like, that's enough, Mr. Samus. I think they understand the severity of this case. This is obviously their livelihood in the matter, and I will ask that you please calm yourself down a little.
I kind of like give like a what are you doing, Wheeler? You've never been this authoritative before.
I have to ask, Sophronia, how long has these crystal bats been here?
It must have been. She's kind of whittling off a little bit. She doesn't really give you a straight answer. Ever since I was wearing my petticoat. And yeah, she just kind of goes on and
so many years.
Prim kind of touches her arm and says, "It's okay. You don't have to answer."
I speak at this point.
Let's search the house.
I say, Sophronia, what makes you so sure that your bats are the ones eating the things that you leave them?
Well, no one else goes up there, and they seem to like the stinky stuff, and I wouldn't touch it, but they seem to love it.
Is it always gone when you come back for it?
Oh, yes, yes.
Do you think you could show the rest of us?
Well, we have to do it at night. That's the only time that they come out is at night, my dear.
Great, let's all go. Looking at everybody. Like, everyone, including the family. Let's all go.
I like that idea.
It's still early. Let's search the house first.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe we can finally prove to everyone that I'm not crazy!
Now, if you don't think so crazy.
Okay.
That's what you have to say to the crazy people.
So Wheeler kind of looks at the family and is like, is this okay with all of you? Ellery and Isabeau are neutral on this. They're totally mortified that, all their families' secrets are being exposed to the world. They don't really have a say in the matter. Lucy is on board. She just wants to get you guys the hell out of her house. Sophronia is like, oh yes, I have a good feeling about all of you. I think every one of you will really enjoy my crystal baths as long as you stay quiet, like Mr. Walton over here. He was as quiet as a mouse when we went up there. He was and as still as a wooden board when we went up there. He kept his mouth shut.
I kind of smile at Sophronia, like, oh you, oh you old lady.
Oh you.
Caleb is, he's reticent, but he just kind of nods his head. Guillaume's like, whatever the hell you little bitches want to do, I don't know. And he takes a swig of his flask and then goes downstairs, leaves the room.
You meant Guillaume, not Caleb.
Yeah, Guillaume. Yeah. And finally you guys come to Prim, and he's like, well, fine, if it will get you out of this house and away from our family, and we can find these pearls, and hopefully that will be the end of that. I will cooperate.
Well, let's not split up this time. Let's start at one end of the house, and each of us look very carefully to see what we can find, any evidence of anything. Hair, clothing, something that will lead us to where this... Let's assume that Mr. Ryan is either hiding in the house or he is dead somewhere. Mm-hmm. We need to find him.
Okay. Cool.
So...
Wonderful dinner! The cucumber sandwiches are amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
She just kind of looks at you like, all right, let's get this over with,
These aren't cucumbers. These are zucchini.
Yeah.
You've been lying to us again.
All right, so where do you guys want to start? Upstairs, downstairs?
Let's start at the top and work our way down, or bottom up?
I think bottom up.
Bottom up?
Yeah, bottom up.
So basement?
Yeah.
Okay.
And what we'll do is we'll go as far away from the stairs as we can, and then work our way towards the stairs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So, once again, you guys. I'm assuming they're all kind of in the basement. Most of them are with you down in the basement. You don't see anything else. Obviously, you point out the casting to them. Same kind of reaction of disgust. When you point that out to them, but otherwise it's pretty empty. As you're going through the pantry area downstairs where the dumbwaiter is, there's some foodstuffs in the pantry, and Lucy, just kind of mentions offhandedly, like, oh, these rats, are getting in here. It's awful. And Dr. Taylor, you would know just from your natural history background that the food is pretty well contained. Like, there isn't really any way for rats to get into it. Like, they actually did put it in, I don't know what they had back then, mason jars or glass, containers or whatever, that rats would not be able to get into easily. So that's just one thing that you notice. But other than that, there really isn't anything else that you notice besides the open floorboards. By the time you guys go down there, the black ooze that you had collected earlier is gone. You don't see that anywhere.
Do I still have a sample though?
Still have it in the sample, yeah, you still have it in the sample, but it's no longer on the walls. And then you can still look at the floorboards. There's something in the floorboards, the loose floorboards that you had pushed up.
Can I take a look at the sample?
Yeah, if you want.
And I'm going to retcon one thing. When we're in the kitchen and I'm having that food pointed out to me, I'm gonna take that little bit of food and keep it aside. Is it like somewhat like it could be rotting by the time we get to the attic?
No, it's not like perishable stuff. This is all like flour, cornmeal, stuff like that. That you would keep, like dry goods, that sort of thing.
Is there some of that perishable stuff around that I could like tuck away?
Yeah, if you want to, yeah, sure.
Okay, I'm gonna take a little bit of that.
It's almost like the container that this stuff was in was opened, and then there's like flour, kind of spread around it. But the containers are such a way that it would be impossible for something like a rat to get into it. It would have to be something with hands, so.
Did it look like it was gotten into though?
Yeah, it looks like something had gotten into it.
Okay.
So nothing really else in the basement unless you guys wanted to look at anywhere specific.
Can I tell anything about the slime? Just from looking at it?
It's just like a viscous, it's not like a watery kind of substance. It's almost like rubbery.
So sticky?
Viscous, sticky, yeah.
Molasses.
I'm assuming you just have it in like a vial. Yeah, it looks like molasses.
Okay.
Best description of it, yeah. Okay, so going up to the ground floor once again, we've already kind of run through all the evidence for the cat burglar, how he got in. Sitting room,
Hey, Troy.
same thing. Yeah.
Troy and group, are we like showing the hazards? Like, this is exactly what we saw. Look at the shape of the feet. Look at how they shuffle away.
Yeah, you guys, if you want to point out all this stuff to them, and Detective Wheeler and Joe Schmo Cop are there too. So.
Are we doing that? Like, are we proving something to them?
Sure.
Yeah,
I suppose in part, but we're also looking very carefully to see if we find anything more.
right. Any new evidence?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're doing spot hiddens like crazy.
We had access to Guillaume's room too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He reluctantly lets you guys in.
And we already did a spot hidden check on that, me and
Yeah.
Solomon, so there was nothing in there. Okay.
Okay, so.
So we've cleared the basement.
Yeah, ground floor is pretty much clear unless you have.
We cleared the ground floor. So now we go up.
Yeah, so you guys will go up the same way you guys went up, to Sophronia and Prime's room. So it's the west end of the house, so that western stairwell. So if you go through Prime and Sophronia's room, same old, you didn't really catch anything else, that you haven't seen in there. You admire Sophronia's. I think Sophronia was sleeping the first time that you guys were there, so when you go into her room, you admire her, needlework. She does really nice needlework. Other than that, there's nothing really in there. Now going up to the attic, where there's Cousin Wilfred facing the south room, and then there's the museum. I think you were in the museum, right, Walton?
Yeah, but I didn't really have a whole lot of time. Actually, I'm pretty sure I had a whole lot of time, and we did everything that was
stayed up there. Yeah. I mean, do you guys want to go in that room first, or do you want to do Cousin Wilfred's room again?
No, we won't go into Cousin Wilfred's room again.
No, okay.
I'm convinced there's nobody in there but him. But yeah, it's a museum, and we all have our flashlights now because we were going to search everything.
Yeah, if you want to go through all this, who has... Dr. Elijah, go ahead and make an anthropology roll, because now that you're looking at...
One of my best skills.
Books,
okay.
Yeah, right. You may have more of an idea of...
I made it.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
So you get a better sense of where exactly these Indian artifacts are from that are in the actual museum. They actually come from the specific Wichita tribe, which was once found in western Oklahoma. And I was
reading about that one.
Yeah. So yeah, I knew you had known that they were from like the Plains tribes, like you had gotten that sort of information from the library, but looking at the actual artifacts that they have in the household, you're able to decisively place it as the Wichita tribe.
Okay.
And you do know that they're basically they've basically been almost eradicated by this time. So they're not really there anymore.
Okay.
It also creates a strong tie-in to the Corvira, the Wichita tribe in that area. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So let me see if there's anything else you guys notice in there.
Troy, was there any when we noticed the loose floorboards in the basement? I'm trying to pay attention as to where they might lead to, like what.
From what you can tell, there's probably like a crawl space in between the floors. So almost like in modern day houses where they would put like insulation, I guess. There's actually like spaces in between the stories of the house.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's the only explanation you guys can think of for if something did crawl up in there, that's the only way it would have really worked out.
So like there's no other openings in the first floor then, is what I'm saying.
None that you guys have noticed.
That we saw, yeah, okay.
Let me see. Let me just see if there's anything else in the museum. So, as you guys are leaving the museum, because obviously the anthropologists, Dr. Solomon, even probably Dr. Bruner, are like really interested in all the sort of collection, the curios that they have in this family museum. They have a lot of interesting books. As you guys are leaving the museum, though, you hear some noises coming from Cousin Wilfred's room. It sounds like the chains are being rattled on his thing, and so Prim, just kind of says, "I'm going to go check on him."
Can I do a listen check?
Yeah, sure. You could do a listen check if you want.
Okay. Come on, be good to me. Yes! Oh, the Lord! Okay.
So Walton, I mean, you hear the chains. You can also hear a little bit of groaning, sort of underneath the chains, coming from that room. So Prim opens up the door and goes in. Do any of you follow? Or
I'm definitely following Prim.
So am I. Come on, Tillman, let's go.
I'll stay in the
I'll
hallway.
to the point where I stay at the door, but I'm not going.
I'm not going in. I'll stay in the hallway.
You hear screams come together.
I am not going because I'm like, oh, why would you do this? These people have some privacy.
Mm-hmm.
Prim actually kind of peeks his head out and says, "Dr. Bruner, could you come in here just in case we need a medical doctor?"
Of course.
I'm not sure. He may need assistance.
So I will go in.
Yeah. So now that we have more eyes in the room, everyone who's actually in the room, go ahead and make a spot hidden roll.
Does that include me? I'm at the door.
Boy, I must be blind when I walk into this room.
Yeah, no, I failed.
Maybe it's because I'm so convinced that it's just a family member.
Yeah.
I just can't see.
So I'm not looking.
So all three of you failed, really? Yeah, because Dr. Taylor, you're not like in the room. So
I would push the roll, but no, not gonna do that.
You know what? Actually, Dr. Taylor, you can make a spot hidden roll. You would find something else though. So.
Okay.
Come on, Grace.
No.
Okay. All right.
Well, luck roll.
All right. No. So you guys are all in there. Dr. Bruner, as you get closer to him, and you can kind of see him, he's kind of moving in his wheelchair a little bit, just kind of moving kind of back and forth. One thing that you notice as you get up to him, I mean, he has this pallor, obviously, because he's been stuck in this dank thing, but he actually looks fairly healthy. And he does not look even as old as Prim does. But Prim had made, sort of the intimation that he was this elderly, very, very old, sick man. He actually looks okay comparatively for someone who's been basically chained up in, an attic for his life. He's very, very pale. But he looks fairly healthy.
Based on my my profession, does he look like he has any diseases or lesions on his skin? Or
here's the thing you notice when you get closer to him. So he has this pallor. He also does have lesions on his face, but they're more like. Almost like large birthmarks, almost like you would notice on his face, like splotches almost.
Red splotches.
Like almost like what's that, sarcoma or whatever that you would get, like red port wine stains almost on his face and on his arms. Like I said, he's very obese. As you get up, he's just kind of a rotund man. His hair is basically all gone. Well, that's the thing that you notice as you get closer to him. And go ahead and make a sanity check. Just Dr. Bruner, because you're close enough.
Oh, great. I got a 16. That's good.
Okay, so you did make it. You don't lose any sanity, but one thing very disturbs you. His mouth is much wider than it should be.
Nope.
It's just up to where his cheeks should be. It's extremely wide mouth.
He has mandibula insmouthia.
Yeah, the mandibula maximus.
Insmouthia.
Yeah, right.
Hey, Troy?
Yes.
Because I can kind of see him jolting up. I reach my hand into my pocket, my coat pocket, to kind of grab the hilt of my pistol, and I kind of nudge Tillman to make him look, and I open up the coat so that he can see the handle, and I just kind of give a nod, just convey to him that if something goes down,
Okay. So
I'm sorry. What was his name again? The manager. Wilfred. Is Wilfred looking at us? Is he
His
clear-eyed?
eyes are open. Yeah. His once you three are in there, he opens his eyes because they've been closed when you saw him the first time. He does open his eyes, and then they kind of like close just to like little pinpricks almost as you get closer. And once you're pretty close, Dr. Bruner, and Prim is over there too. He kind of looks at you, and then he looks at Walton, and he says in this kind of it's a hoarse voice, but it's a lot stronger than you would expect. He says, "That won't be necessary, Mr. Samus." And
who says this?
The Wilfred.
He speaks.
He speaks. Yes.
And he knows my name.
Yes. And he says, he's sitting there. I mean, you can see his mouth. I mean, as it opens, it's only really Dr. Bruner that can see the mouth up close, and it's extremely creepy. But he says, I can explain everything if you all will come in. I know all about you investigators. I've heard you all over the house. Being in this room, I can hear everything in the house. So I would appreciate it if you all came in, and then I can explain the situation as it stands right now.
With everyone else, or just us investigators?
I can explain what happened to the burglar, and answer your questions.
What the hell? What does his mouth look like? Has he got like a million teeth and stuff, like a shark or what?
You can't see from here, but you just see his mouth as it opens, and yeah, you haven't really seen
now we are confronted with something very strange. I think we need to keep a couple of us outside the room.
We already are.
I'm just gonna pull out the gun, and I'm gonna say, you understand why I have this, right?
Well, there was a very dangerous man in this house, and
there could still be.
Yes, but I will explain his ultimate fate.
All right, explain to us what has happened.
I would like it if Dr. Elijah and the female would come inside the house, or come inside my room.
I look at Prim, and I kind of like give it like a glare, and I'm trying to convey with my eyes if he's going to stay in the room or if he's going to leave.
He's staying right there, and actually at this point Lucy comes in too. And she's like, oh, poor cousin Wilfred. You know, he's harmless. You know, you know, she kind of talks to Dr. Taylor, and Solomon is just like, he's a very weak man.
I don't turn around. I just shout guys to the two outside.
Okay, I'll come in.
Okay.
I'll step in, but I'll stay right by the door.
Okay. So he as you guys kind of come in, he kind of gets up, he sits up in his chair a little bit, and he says,
So he's not restrained, or?
Well, that's what you noticed, Dr. Bruner. He's not restrained, like actually tied down in his chair. He sits up in his chair, and he's just like, that man, that burglar, was in here. We had a little meeting, and I'm afraid he didn't quite leave this room. And then he gets up all of a sudden. He stands up and he pushes you, Dr. Bruner, to the ground.
I put the gun up. ready to fire.
Okay. So,
I put my hand on my little hand.
So how am I laying? On my back, on my front, or what?
Yeah. So he pushed you to the ground. So let me.
I'm always the first one to die.
Hold on. I'm getting my stuff together here. So let me.
Oh, my character doesn't die. I really like him. That'd really suck.
Okay, so he does make that. And then give me just a sec here.
Oh god, he's rolling combat. Everybody run!
I knew the moment he started smiling as he was narrating this to us.
Okay.
You're in trouble.
So he pushes you, and then he leaps on you, Dr. Bruner, and he actually does.
I'm sorry, am I face up or face down?
Face up. He pushed you on your back, like that, yes, and then he leaped on you. So he does 7 points of damage on you.
What did he do to me? Just push me over? That's it?
He's actually crushing you with his body weight at this point, and you are both face to face as he's on top of you. Just as a point of reference, he's size 18, so he's
holy crap.
He's a big boy, yeah.
Should we roll initiative?
Yeah, so after this, we don't really have initiative, I guess. It's really just kind of based on whoever wants to go, but he's done his role, so...
he had to drop on me.
So whoever I guess has the highest, what is it, dexterity? I don't have all your stats in front of me. What?
I'm at 16.
I'm at 11.
I'm at 12.
12.
I'm at 17.
17. Well... So, and then Tillman, I'm sorry, what do you have?
11.
11, okay.
Yeah, 11 also.
But I think really that only...
What's your hit point situation right now?
I'm at 9.
Down from what you had?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, okay, so you're
I'm healthy.
Okay, yeah, you're actually a very healthy man.
Doctor.
Yeah. So,
it's eating right and, not smoking, like I told you.
So,
is that why my health points are so low?
So he pretty much has you immobilized at this point. He's much larger than you. So actually, I'm
get
gonna
this crazy man off of me.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and move to the next person with the highest dex. So I guess that's Walton. Then,
yeah.
Right? Okay, so what are you going to do?
Well, I've got my gun out, but I don't want to shoot. I want to shoot Dr. Bruner.
Through the shoulder, I told you.
Put on the ground. He's on top of you. Oh, God.
Oh, and actually, all of you need to make sanity rolls, too, by the way. PTW, yeah.
This time, I make a sanity roll.
Oh, yeah, made it.
All right,
oh, boy, I really failed
it. I made it.
Obviously, I think Dr. Bruner probably...
You went insane.
Okay, so everyone who made it, roll 1d2.
D2?
Yeah, so I guess it's d4 and half it, I guess.
All right, 2. Or 1.
2.
Yeah,
2.
half it.
Oh, well, so everyone who failed, it's a 1d6, actually, so...
Oh, okay, sorry.
Okay,
uh-oh, that's not good.
Oh, boy, I got a 5 roll.
Oh!
I got a 4.
Okay, alright, so the horror of watching this, previously weakened man just totally leap up, and you can hear him, crunch onto, Dr. Bruner as far as just his sheer weight on top of him is just absolutely shocking. And then you guys can kind of see, especially the ones who failed, you can see his mouth is just it's just ungodly large. And the rest of the family is just like dumbstruck. They're just standing there like absolutely have no clue what's going on. So
what about our cops? What are their dexes? What are they?
So they're coming in too. So we'll do them too.
I can't do a grapple on him. He's huge.
If you want, you can
hopefully
try.
you can.
I'll have to get my size stuff going on here, but whatever you want to do. You can...
I don't know if I want to shoot him or not. May as well. Maybe.
Yeah, you can. His girth is large enough that it would be, you're pretty much point blank range from him at this point.
All right. So is there a modifier for point blank range? Like, do I get like?
Yeah,
okay.
you get. I don't know the exact thing, so let me pull it up.
Okay.
Real
Go
quick.
ahead and let me know what that is.
He's not a big target. Hold on just a second. Point blank, shooter's chance to hit is doubled, and then the damage done is unchanged. So, what's your chance to hit? What do you have?
I have a 55.
Okay, so
You hit him.
you
him?
don't have to roll. Yeah, you don't have to roll.
That's why I'm like, oh yeah, awesome.
For chance to hit, go ahead and roll your damage then.
Okay.
What type of gun do you have?
I have a 357 revolver.
Okay, yeah, that's good. You get 1d8 plus 1d4.
Wait, and then my bonus damage is a 1d4, so 2d4. All right, let's roll it. Forgot the 1d. Oh, just kidding. So 12. I did 12 damage.
Nice. Okay, cool. So you just get a huge chunk of him out, like as you fire into him. I don't think you get. Do you get 2 shots of that? No, you just get 1. Okay. So yeah, you take a huge chunk out of him, and he gets up, and he looks at you.
He got up. He's standing up?
He got up off of Dr. Bruner. He kind of rolls over, and then he's up on his feet, and he's just like looking like frantically, around.
Next time, hit him in the face.
Squatting,
I couldn't hit him in the face. He was on top of you. Up, and power just went out.
Oh, wow.
Oh, no.
I see you.
Up, and it just came back.
He's in there.
Run!
Oh,
That
God,
was good atmosphere for the game.
Yeah, there you go.
It's the crystal bats.
They're here.
Oh, so
I'm sorry, that was 12 damage that you did?
Yeah, I did 12.
Okay.
Please tell me I killed him. Just kidding.
yeah, right.
So, but you took a pretty good chunk out of him. So actually, yeah. So okay. So he gets up and he's real he's not happy. Let's do. Wheeler actually has really high dex, so we'll go ahead and do his. He's gonna take a shot with his 38 revolver. I don't think he is considered point blank. Less than should. Oh yeah, he is point blank. Okay, so we'll do him too. He only has a 35, so let's see what he gets. He makes it because he's point blank. So he's shooting with his revolver, and he is doing 1d10 plus 1d4. Let's see what we got. Okay, so he does. So he unloads into him as well with his 38. And hits him again. Actually, this time in his hamstring. So he's a little bit. He kind of moves to the side a little bit. And viscera and blood are just spraying everywhere. But he's still standing, and he's still still with it. This time he targets. Let's see. Well, go ahead and who would be next as far as dex goes? I think it's you,
Grace.
Elijah.
No, I think Grace. She has a 12.
What do you want to do? Okay.
So is it my turn then?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna pull up my gun and I'm gonna take a shot.
Okay. So go ahead. And it is point blank.
So that means my chances are doubled?
Yes.
Good, because I suck. Oh, I don't suck that much. That's awesome. Okay, I'll eat it.
Okay. So go ahead and roll your damage.
Now, what's the damage for my handgun?
What do you have?
I don't know if I ever established that.
Oh, okay. We'll just say you have 32 or 38. Let's see. 1d10.
Okay.
You have a Lady Remington.
9.
Nice.
9. Oh, nice. Okay, so, yeah, you shoot him square in the face, and he collapses on the ground.
Not on me. Good. He didn't collapse on me.
Yeah, not on Dr. Bruner. Dr. Bruner is pretty dexterous, so I'm assuming he rolled out of the way. Yeah, so
we shot him 3 times. Is he finally dead?
He is dead. Yeah, he collapses. So as you all are just kind of standing there shocked, gunpowder in the air. Gunpowder in the air. You hear some scurrying up in the rafters of his room, and all of a sudden, one of the rafters falls through, and out of it comes, surprisingly, a child. A child comes down into the room, and then you guys didn't catch this before, but there's holes in the wall near where Wilfred was sitting, and 2 more children pop out of those walls.
Gun still pointing.
They look like something else.
And so they're children, but as the light now is kind of streaming through, they kind of ignore you guys for the moment, and you see them moving towards the body of Cousin Wilfred, and one of the little children is a boy. It's cute. He has little sandy hair, freckles. Looks fairly normal. However, once he gets up to Wilfred, a giant tongue comes out of his mouth and licks Cousin Wilfred's face. Everyone, go ahead and make sanity rolls for seeing this, and then seeing.
Yeah, I missed it. I'm bad.
So, let me see, because there's actually a special thing here. Hold on just a sec. And then the other children, you notice. So, okay, so we have him. Okay. So the other child, you notice, is a little girl with kind of black hair. She's kind of sunken in eyes, but Dr. Bruner would especially notice this. She has under her dress, there's like how to describe it? Almost like a pulsating mass underneath her dress, like where her torso is, and you can see it as she's kind of moving. It's like almost like a gelatinous squishing, and you can hear it. And as she kind of walks by you to go to see Wilfred, you just get this rank smell of just digesting food. Yeah.
Hey, Troy.
Yeah.
Can I make? Is there like a reminisce skill where I can remember the smell that was in the attic?
Yeah. You recognize the smell right away.
My eyes open like really wide, and I kind of like put my hands back, and I'm like, we need to go. We need to leave right now. Like like.
Well, okay. So okay. So as far as sanity goes, whoever failed takes a 1d8 sanity loss.
God.
because these children are
Oh my
pretty
god.
disgusting.
Two. I only got 2. That's fine.
Oh, that's actually really good. Okay.
Yeah, hooray!
And then everyone who passed is a 1d3.
I took 4 again.
Oh boy.
At this point, I just want to get the fuck out of this room.
Whittling you down. So this is all happening. This is all happening pretty quickly. Now the final child, and this one is pretty loosely, you could say it's a child. Maybe it's maybe more like the size of a child, but this child is, like I said, it's not even really a child. It's basically this amorphous blob that's sort of in like kind of has the shape of a head, but it just looks like this like it's hard to describe this one, but let me see. Yeah, I'll just go ahead and read this. He is a fluid movement of blackness whose only vestige of humanity is the slowly dissolving face that peers from his form when his interest is aroused. Yeah, so that's the other thing that you guys have in front of you right now. So the other 2 children look really, nice in comparison. As you guys are like backing out of the room, the amorphous blob calls out to you and just says, "Wait." The black amorphous oozing.
No, I'm saying like to who? Like which one? Does it call us all out?
Yeah, it's pretty much to all of you and just says, "Wait, you killed him. You killed our father."
Nope.
And then he says, and then from within his ooze, he sticks a vestige in it and pulls out the pearls.
Oh, thank you, little boy.
Says, "I believe you are looking for these," in this like oozing, dripping, disgusting voice, and just says, "You're muted."
What's the family doing?
They are totally stricken. They are not moving. They are almost catatonic at this point. Ellery and Isabeau at this point are like, Isabeau's openly weeping. Like she has no idea what the hell's going on. Clearly, the other ones you can tell there's a glimmer, like they know kind of what's going on here. And he says, "You want them so badly? Take them!" And he throws them. And Tillman, you grab them as he throws them across the room. And says, and the boy or the blob thing just says, "Time to run." And all of a sudden, the house starts shaking.
Okay.
Well, okay.
I'm gonna throw open the door and run the house with it.
Yeah.
Time to run.
So the house is shaking. The family still is just standing there in total shock. Ellery and Isabeau are still kind of with it. They're kind of moving with you guys, but you can tell like they're pretty much like scarred from this. They do not want.
Drag them out of there. I will drag them out of this house.
Okay. Who all are you dragging?
I will drag them,
please.
I'll grab the 2 children. No, screw the police. The ones they're staying there. They're staying there. Let's go.
Yeah.
So, we're all still in the room, or we're kind of?
I'm guessing you guys are probably left at this point. You guys are probably on the landing. I'm guessing you guys are probably on the landing at this point because you probably don't want to stick around to see what happens here. But yeah, unless you want to stick around.
No, I want to run.
I really want to shoot the blob.
Okay.
You stay there.
I point at Wheeler and I say, "I think you're still involved."
You did this.
Wheeler's like, I don't know, and he just starts running. He just gets out of there, and then
so Wheeler's
I
running,
mean,
Isabeau's running,
Booker, Joe Schmo, whatever, he's running out too. Yeah, go ahead and make your shot.
Well, I have a 32 revolver and it has 3 attacks. That means I get 3 shots?
Yeah.
And he's not at point blank, so I only have a 50% chance to hit him. But I can fire 3 times, though.
If you're still in the room, he'll be at point blank, yeah.
So I hit him 3 times and we'll just roll damage?
So your 2 hit is over 50 then, I'm guessing?
Yeah, well, 50%.
Oh, okay, cool. So you're good. So go ahead and just roll damage. And you're shooting at the blob.
Blob, right. I got a 7 on the first shot, a 2 on the second shot, and a 6 on the third shot. So 13 points of damage, 6, 7, 8, yeah.
Okay.
13.
So what happens?
15. I'm sorry, 15 points total.
Bullets fly into him, and they just get absorbed into the blob. So he's like, so he pulls the tentacle back, and it extends out at an alarming rate.
Nice.
So let's see what happens here.
Thanks, Solomon.
Just a sec.
It's been nice knowing you.
Okay, he is whipping you with his tentacle. Hold on just a sec.
Okay.
I just want to see what we're doing here. Okay. Ooh, he got an 0-2. Wow. Okay, so that's actually a crit.
An impale, yeah, you got an impale. Okay.
So we actually get a double damage, I believe. That's how that works.
Oh, man.
First knowing you, Solomon, you were good.
Hold on just a second. So he just smacks you across the face with his tentacle.
Do I get a chance to dodge that? Do you have to have the skill to dodge?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, go ahead. It's Dex times 2.
Which is a 22 or lower for me, but I'm probably not going to make it, but I'll roll anyways.
Yeah, we'll try it. We'll see.
You might get it too. Who knows?
I got a 17.
Oh, good job. Okay, so you actually do miss it. So good for you. However, since he did crit it, he does still kind of hit you, but I'll just do regular damage here.
Okay.
So he does 3 points of damage against you. So he, you do move out of the way, but he kind of like boomerangs it back around and just snaps at your leg.
Okay.
And sort of kind of gets your calf.
All right.
So the rest of you are out of there. So as you guys are running down the stairs, so Wheeler and Joe Schmo are running ahead of you. And all of a sudden, as the house is shaking, Joe Schmo
poor Joe Schmo
disappears out of sight. He just falls through the floorboard. So he gone.
No.
So you guys are gonna want to avoid that gigantic gaping hole in the house. And at this point, you know, windows are breaking, there's dust all over, there's a fire started, you know, as you guys are getting down into the second story.
Are the children still following us?
No, they're up in the attic still.
Oh God, we gotta do something. We didn't do all this to not give the pearls back to these people.
So yeah, at this point, that's probably the furthest
we've
from your
proved that the
mind,
pearls were in the house. They saw them with their own eyes. It's their responsibility now.
They're all gonna die.
The insurance company will be very happy.
They were the ones that did it. They're the ones that stole them.
So you guys are running through the house.
Does they have a phone?
No, I don't think there was a phone.
Operator,
I was going to book a flight to Germany right now.
Real quick, yeah. So let's see. Okay, so you guys are running through. So what are you doing, Solomon?
Well, seeing that I can't hurt him, I'm going to do my best to flee.
Okay. He is going to make another attack at you as you are fleeing.
Can I try to dodge again?
He's pretty pissed off.
Cool.
Yeah, you could try and dodge again. Yeah,
I respect that.
Let me see. Okay, he misses this one.
Okay.
This time, actually. So yeah, so he just kind of like it smacks against the wall next to you. But yeah, you're able to escape out of there. However, as you're escaping, a piece of the ceiling collapses down in front of you. Go ahead and make a luck roll.
Okay, that's 80% or lower for me. I got a 38. I made it.
Nice. Okay, cool. So it misses you. You're able to kind of maneuver around it, but the house is coming down.
Okay. I'll try to get out as directly in as fast as possible.
But luckily,
although wait.
Yeah.
Oh, there's that museum with all the stuff in it in that library.
Forget about it, Solomon. Run.
He'll buy you another book.
They're just books. Run.
Is the museum on the attic or is
it's in the attic? Yeah, it's in the attic. So, but as you're kind of like wondering, ooh, should I go back and grab those books? You see the vestiges of one of the children start the tentacle kind of moving out of the room.
Someone, I will buy you a museum.
Yeah. Buy you a museum with the money that we have now from the jewels. Let's go.
I'll run. It pains me deeply that we're leaving all this stuff behind.
Of course. The treasures that will be lost.
The history that's in this house is insane.
The kicker is, in real life, I will be right there with you. Oh my God! Oh, I can't go.
Do I get, Troy, before I run, can I ask you one question?
Yeah, sure.
Do I get the impression that the house is actually going to collapse, or is it like they're just trying to scare us? Okay.
Nope. House is going to collapse. Ceiling is falling down around you as you're asking.
All right. I'll run then.
Okay, so you guys are hustling down the stairs. As you guys, so the first half of you guys that are running down the stairs, Wheeler is like, oh my God, my partner, and he goes back to try and get him out, but he's just totally fallen through the house at this point. So
screw you, partner.
Yeah, so Wheeler's kind of left behind at this point. So you guys are running down the stairs. Tillman, you have Isabeau with you because you guys kind of had a connection, so you're kind of shepherding her through. And Ellery is keeping up with you guys. He's pretty messed up, but he's trying to keep it together. As you guys are walking down running down the stairs onto the ground floor. Once again, everything's really coming down around you. Walton, go ahead and make a luck roll for me.
Oh, come on, man.
Wow. Hey, you made that luck roll in Rhode Island, so.
I didn't, though. What did I get? Oh, no, an 85!
Yeah, I don't know if that's good enough for you.
It's a kind of luck.
Why, Troy? Why?
I told you should have taken a minute and gotten your dice.
So you actually, it's not too bad. You slip and fall actually down the stairs. So you actually you tumble down the stairs during the shaking. So go ahead and do 1d4 of damage.
Oh, well, thank God. Okay, not that bad. Thank you, Troy. I love you. I can't see it. It's not showing me. I got a 3.
You got a 3. Okay.
It's not bad.
So, well, yeah, could have been worse, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay,
it could have been. I could have died.
You guys want to add a little hit point section on there below your sanity. No, just kidding.
Another little thing.
Yeah. Okay, so you guys are down on the ground floor. At this point, Solomon, you've kind of like walked around, the Officer Wheeler at this point because he's still trying to get his friend out.
Well, wait, I wouldn't leave him.
Okay, all right, yeah. If you want to help him,
I mean, is there a way that I can just like grab him and drag him away? I don't want to leave him here to die.
Yeah, sure.
Actually,
go ahead and let's try and do a grapple. Let's do a grapple as you're grabbing him.
I have no clue.
Base is 25.
Yeah, I have no skill in it, so all right, I'll just roll. I missed it horribly.
Okay. So what's your size?
14.
14. Okay, and he is. You're actually slightly larger than him, so you do kind of pull him away. And I think just the act of you trying to pull him away, that does kind of get him out of it, and he's just like, okay, we gotta go. So both of you head out of the house. So you guys are down on the ground floor, and you just hightail it out of there, I'm sure. So you guys get out of the house. You're running away from the house, and if one of you looks behind you, you can see the whole ceiling collapse in on itself, and then the second floor, and then it just collapses. And interestingly, who all is looking at the house itself?
I will literally.
Yeah, I would look at it. I think all of us would probably.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys are just gonna start running into town or whatever.
Oh, we're all
screaming like little girls.
Yeah.
I was gonna go for that car.
The car was taken away by the police.
I wasn't. Oh, darn it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, they did. They were aware of that.
Once we're out of the house, we know that it's not going to collapse on us.
Yeah. So yeah, if you guys are kind of looking at the house, yeah, it's let's see.
I need answers, Troy.
I know. I'm just trying to see.
Does anybody have a match?
Sure. It's in the ground.
The whole house collapses in on itself, and then what you notice is that it must have been built on a sinkhole of sorts, and you vaguely remember someone mentioning to you that the house was built on top of like a cavern system, and so the whole thing just collapses into the earth, like it was sucked up almost by like a sinkhole. But the rest of the town seems fine. You can't see, there isn't chaos and destruction going on in Mystics, so it's like a weird, like almost like a localized earthquake, basically, is what you guys sort of just experienced. So Ellery and Isabeau are with you. Isabeau is catatonic at this point. She will not respond to you if you ask her a question, but she'll follow orders at this point.
Good to see your girlfriend's back.
Yeah.
I look to her because I'm a doctor, so I want to.
You realize there's nothing really you can do for her at this point. I mean, it's shock, but also it's at this point in psychiatric history, you'd say it was probably hysteria would be probably your official diagnosis or whatever for her. And then Ellery, it just sort of gets down on his knees and is just like, oh my God, my family, because no one else left the house.
Oh wow.
That's another thing you realize. So Sophronia, Caleb, Geoff, all of them are, you don't see them.
Could have left.
Wheeler's there, and he's kind of familiar with comforting victims, so I think you guys walked up though with him, right? So he takes off his police jacket or whatever and puts it around Isabeau or whatever, but at this point there's really nothing else you can do. So you guys have the pearls. Tillman has the pearls. And yeah, at this point you're basically just staring there at the smoldering ruins of this house that was there.
That damned house.
That damned house. Yeah. So what are your next steps? What do you guys want to do now?
Troy.
Make a phone call to the insurance company.
I pull out my cigarette pack, and I put it in my mouth, and then I look at Dr. Bruner, and I hold it up to him.
Yeah, give me one.
I would take one.
Yeah.
Just like
Dr. Bruner smoking. Oh no! I really screwed him up.
Oh no!
Now, how do you do this?
Well, you're smoking it the wrong way, but like this.
Oh.
Yeah, don't light the filter. Yeah, I don't know. Did cigarettes even have filters on that?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, I don't even think they did. Yeah,
they probably didn't know even.
It was all Lucky Strikes back then, I'm sure. Yeah. So you guys have the pearls, and that's really it. Wheeler, kind of comes to his senses a little bit, and it's just like we need to put in a report.
We need
report here. So I guess you guys start heading back into town, unless there's anything else you want to do.
What are we going to tell people? Maybe there was poisonous gas and we were all hallucinating?
We don't have to tell them anything, do we?
I don't know about you.
I want to know why the house is...
Well, I mean, Wheeler could even tell you guys, it's fairly well known that the house was built on a cavern system. So, he's like, I can't explain everything that we saw in there, but, I can just say there was a sinkhole during our investigation and the house collapsed in on itself.
I don't know about you
Terrible
guys.
tragedy, but, luckily we have some survivors.
I'm gonna write a book about this. It's gonna be a bestseller. I can guarantee it. Thanks, guys. Guys, guy found the cat burglar. Then we found the jewels. Monsters. This is a bestseller. Boom, right there. Millions of dollars made. All right. I'll share it with you guys, but only a little bit. I don't know. The royalties. It's a complicated business.
Could you leave out the part where the big frogman landed on me?
I'll say you valiantly took him down, and we all shot at him.
So there is more to the scenario if you guys want. I mean, we can end it here if you want, but there is a really technically this isn't even like the climax.
This isn't the climax.
There actually is.
How much? I mean, how far do we
final act, if you will. So we can start that next time if you want to.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
That puts us right on schedule.
Yes.
Okay.
Perfect.
Right.
So you think though that it will finish next week?
Yes. Yeah. We can finish it next week. Yeah.
I'm not gonna die.
So what we'll end with is you guys. Make it back to Mystic. You're, in the bed and breakfast, trying to recuperate from this. Ellery and Isvo are with you. She's still not talking, and he's just, kind of muttering about, his family, and everything. Something weird happens that evening, though. You start to notice, the lamps will not get as bright. Like you try and put more wick, on the lamps, and they stay. It's almost like they're being almost like artificially dampened almost. No one else seems to notice this. Like if you bring it up to the owners of the bed and breakfast, they don't notice anything. But even the outside of Mystic, everything just seems to have dimmed considerably. Everything.
Do our flashlights do it too?
I'm sorry?
Do our flashlights do this too?
Yes. Yeah. Everything, becomes darker, and this is, after dinner when you guys are just trying to relax a little bit, in the house, and you've put in the report with Wheeler and everything. You guys are kind of settling down. Everything, and it almost feels like time is just like sluggishly kind of dragging along, and you start to notice that the other the owners of the bed and breakfast, because you're the only guests in there, eventually they just stop talking to you. It's very odd. It's almost like you're not there. If you try and like wave your hand in front of them, they'll kind of look up like they may have seen something, but there's nothing there. And then they go back to doing whatever they were doing. And there's sort of just this like just general sense of gloom that just sort of builds into it. It almost feels like if you walk in to the bathroom or to the room or whatever, it's almost like you're walking through like a sludge almost. Like it's just everything's just really this pervasive gloom almost on building. If one of you tries to get out, it almost feels like as you're walking towards the exit, you get confused, and then all of a sudden you're turned around and you're headed the opposite direction, like back to your room.
Oh no, we're never gonna leave.
Yeah. So
No.
So let's go ahead and we'll leave it there. You guys are basically in this bed and breakfast of doom, as it were.
No. Free breakfast every morning.
Hotel California. Oh God, no.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll go ahead and leave it there, and then we'll have our resolution next week.
All right, good stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, investigators.
So none of you died.
Yeah, we're gonna die next time.
I was sure I was going to be the one.
I know. I totally expected that, but your guns are really good. So.
Oh God, I thought I was gonna die. Troy. Oh Lord, I like this character.
This has really been very, very, very good.
I'm glad you guys liked it.
Okay, thanks, investigators. Thanks for your participation. Thanks, Troy, for running the game, and thanks to all our viewers for watching. We hope you enjoyed our game session. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and if you'd like to join us as either a player or a GM in an upcoming game, feel free to contact me via email. Please tune in next Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for what's probably going to be the last episode of That Damned House. Until next time, always remember, if there's no light left to guide your path, your only choice is to venture into the darkness. Good night.